Hey guys, PigBenis here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all globaling and hopping and doing freaking awesome. We're still here in Rocktropia. I'm doing a little PvP4 mining today. I was just down in hell. I did score a 498 pednarch. Let's see if it's still up here. Nah, no, it's not. Anyway, it was a huge narc hit in Dome 1. So, yeah, it was a nice little score for me. Always enjoy getting hops. Who doesn't, right? Anyway, so what's new this week? Oh, anyway, we're throwing with the F213 level 7 finder. My VTOL's flipping out there. Doesn't like living on the edge, being on the edge. That's a fire root globule. It's PvP and matter. And we're basically here for pyrite. We're dropping both end matter and ore, because there's blood moss and some other nice tasty tidbits here in pyrite and stuff like that. So there's also list, unfortunately, and ferrum nuts, but we could get past that with the markup of the pyrite. So yeah, so what's new is the developer notes that MindArc had released that people are in an uproar about, and it's a shame that people are so convinced on certain theories and everything, and couldn't get past some of the facts that they released. And basically what they said was that, number one, efficiency does matter. And you know, I've been saying it all along, efficiency absolutely does matter, and we'll get back to that point in 1 minute. The second item that they had mentioned was no personal loopholes, which I can't believe how many people actually believe in personal loophole. And apparently, I mean, everybody, most of the community is up in an uproar. Oh, then I'll never get my pet back, this, that, and another thing. And guys, I've been saying it all along, time and area matter. You know, 90%, go with the 90%, because I still believe that has firmly a firm impact in the game. But at the same time, if you're not hitting in an area, it's time to move on. If you're not hitting it all during the day, it's time to log out. You know, I always said, and I always thought, that each area has its own sine wave or its own matrix. That some of them are more elevated than others. Some may be hitting 110%, some may be hitting 70%. But in the long run, just like a slot machine, you should be around 90% in your hits. So, and I hate to compare it to slot machines and gambling, because, you know, you can't sell your chips or your cash for markup in a casino. But however, it's almost the same type system, except that when you sit in a slot machine, it takes 97%, and then 97% of that 97%, and 97% of that 97%. So it slowly bleeds you down to nothing. So there's a term for it. I'm not sure what it's called, but that's what it is. So the 90%, I still believe in the long run you will still see returns of 90%, should you be, you know, lucky enough to get your globals and your hops and whatnot. And I'm glad they came out with all this information and to inform the community. I think it's a great step forward to transparency. Not that they have to do it. They've always been very secret. They've always put up big walls around, you know, their how they go about giving out loots and whatnot. And so it's a nice little step for them, and I'm glad they're doing it. So efficiency, we've always known efficiency had a great impact on your gameplay. You know, back before the amp changes, I was hunting monsters and stuff, or mobs, I should say, with a Maddox 4 and a Dante amp. And it was one of the most efficient setups at the time, and I did very well. And I'm sure most of you guys remember strapping the biggest amp you could get onto an Apollo and hunting Argonauts, and then, you know, actually profiting from hunting Argonauts. I don't know if it's possible now, but yeah. So I mean, efficiency has always been a big issue, a big thing to do, a big thing to follow. So, I mean, how does that, that's an ample pyrite, how does that affect mining? How can you be efficient mining? And, you know, well, I'm glad you asked that question, because I'm going to tell you, how does efficiency affect mining? Efficiency affects mining because you're not going to take a level 8 amp or a D class or a level 13. You're not going to mine FOMA for oil or ganganite or sweet stuff. You know, that's where efficiency matters. If you take 130% markup amp and you're mining stuff with a 5% tax rate, mining stuff that sells for 100%, basically TT, you are not efficient. If you're not using the right finder in the right area, or and I hate to use that term, but sometimes it does matter. In fact, I should be using the eMine FS here, but I'm still using the F213. But the deeper rare ores are deeper, you know. If you're using, to lead on to that example, if you're using a TK320 with 10 tiers of depth enhancers up on FOMA to find ganganite, you're not being efficient. You're being dumb. Hate to say it, but it's not efficiency. You want efficiency in that aspect. If you want to take a TK320 with 10 tier enhancers, go for ruggerites or go for zeramite. Don't strap an amp on because you're not going to find amp amounts of that ore and stuff. So that's basic how you can be efficient. You could use different extractors, either planetside or FOMA. You know, FOMA. If you're mining FOMA, you probably want an extractor that's a bit slower that pulls out a lot more material. And on planetside, you probably want an extractor that's much more faster, because of the slow claims. You know, speed equals time equals money. So the whole personal loot pool, the 90% returns, I'm glad that they cleared that up. And people are like, oh, the 90% is shot down. All these people did all these examples and stuff. No, those people did examples, and they really, and I don't know, I can't remember if they said that they believed in a personal loot pool because of that. Medium pyrite, but they really opened up a whole new level, in that they did show that, you know, 90% seems to be an average return. Of course, you know, it was all theory craft, and the, especially, and I'm really referring to the mining one because I don't know really that much about the hunting 90%, if it's even true or not, or if anybody had done an example or a theory or test or anything on that. So, I mean, the mining one I've always suspected. I always thought it was a little less. In fact, I always base my stuff around 88% return. But when I talk to you guys, I always say that the 90%. So, it all seems to work out. In the long run, there's some Himi, some modest Himi. Well, we're finding some nice stuff here. It's amp too. Better be. Yep, level 7 because I just put it on. And I always like to find Himi. Himi's always a nice little ore to find. Beautiful markup. Around 270% last time I checked, but yeah. Nice little find right there. I'm gonna just show you guys what this really looks like here, because I'm not sure if I've showed you guys Himi yet, or even pyrite for that matter. But Himi, so that 4.68 with a markup of 250% is quite a bit. That's really what you want. I mean, that's what I mean by efficiency. We're being efficient using level 7 amps, and where we can find an ore and matter that produces a high enough markup to cover the amp cost markup. So anyway, guys, I hope I've covered enough of that for you. As far as the 90% and personal loot pool goes, again, I never believed in the personal loot pool. I never wanted to believe in it either, because I don't want to be constrained to my deposits, especially since I don't deposit anymore. So it just never made sense, especially to people that withdraw. This is the downside of this right here, is the Listerium. But I mean, if it still sells for 115, it's not as bad as it had been. So, as I said before, and let me reiterate a little bit, efficiency in mining, it is very possible. You don't sell the traders for a loss of 5%. You don't mine in domes that have a tax of 5%, or an area that has a tax of 5%, if the markup of the ore and end matter don't cover that. You're not going to mine with the level 8 for ganganite. It's stupid, really. More, or even anything more than a level 1 amp that you're going to pay markup for, you're not going to mine for ganganite. Efficiency in extractors, which we kind of knew all along, in transformers and finders, it all matters. This is why I use the F213. It's one of the most efficient finders. It's not the most efficient. I think one of the most efficient is the MD50, but they're kind of rare. And they don't have the depth range as the newer L finders. But I've always said, you know, the earth extractors is efficient. The rock rippers are efficient, you know, for what they're worth. Basically TT. And yeah, don't overlap your bombs. Mine smartly. You guys will you'll be successful. I mean, it takes a while, but you'll eventually hit it. Eventually hit what you need. Fire root globule. There. Medium. I'm just gonna finish out this run here. If you guys have any questions regarding anything, please leave a comment below. Shoot me a question in game. Lately, it's been tough for me finding time for the game, especially sitting out here an hours at a time. So if I don't get to your question immediately, or if I don't answer your friend request, it's probably because I'm off, you know, doing other things. Unfortunately, summertime for me is basically solid work time, and I work all summer long, so it's tough to find time for gaming and stuff like that. So, a couple more drops here, and also Wednesday night, 0000 EUT, twitch.tv/PigBenis Haterade. We do a little bit of a live stream. There's a little bit of blood moss right there. I was hoping the claim size would be bigger. However, when I first started mining, before I turned on the video, I think, I did hit a large fire globule, so that should help out. And plus, we got that Narkov 500 ped to dig up, and it's gonna be a busy day for me here in game. I've got to go back to Cali, sell off all of my finds, and then go to Arcadia, try to get rid of some of the Vita stone that I've been trying to get rid of. Hopefully pick up a new extractor. We'll see what happens with that. And yeah, so it's gonna be fun days. Just to hit on the developer notes again, developer notes too. I think it's a good thing that Monarch's doing this. They kind of lower in their walls, offering a bit of transparency. Who knows what they have to say? You know, I mean, if they shoot the personal loophole and efficiency thing right in the butt, I think it's a good move. In fact, it looks as though that, you know, they wanted to really correct some players that had been, I guess, maybe spending way too much money. I don't know really, but apparently they felt bad for someone. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So we're just moving on here. We're just gonna drop. I think we got a couple more probe drops here. Let's take a look at my level 7. Yeah, it's almost done. It's almost done. So, hell has been okay. Last night, it should have been. I really should have been on FOMA, but there's only maybe 1 or 2 domes that I really enjoy mining in FOMA. That can be, you know, efficient or cost effective. One of them being mine or Dome 10, because I believe it still has Ceruleum in it. If not, then it's probably not as effective. But just a buttload of freaking Hoffs shooting right out of it. Absolute ton of Hoffs last night coming out of FOMA, and we're sitting here in hell, and it's like, okay, where's the action? So we got a little bit of action this morning, and that's all we really need. So. Oh, also, man, the other day, I guess the ped gates really opened up for some players. There's about 4 huge Hoffs, and they're all about, oh gosh, 30 K plus on the board. It was quite the sight to see. It was very interesting. I actually was not mining that day. I don't know why. I was really focused on getting something in game, and I was looking all around for it. So I spent most of my time flying between Arcadia and Cali. I should have been mining, but a lot of those hops guys were like iron, and I think it was a list. Not that I'm doing any better here getting list, but I was getting pyrite before. But some brilliant finds, all 30k plus, I believe it was. So it's really cool to see it. And just a bunch of hops following afterwards. I think there was a big narc and a 3k plus calderite. So some nice stuff mixed in there. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get going here because I'm just gonna ramble on. If you guys really believe in the personal loot pool, I mean, don't give up. I mean, there's still hope, and it's good to see openness from Mindark and guys. I mean, area time. Remember that, remember that, and try to make it so that your returns are 90% at least. And if you're not getting that, if you're getting 70% returns, then take your returns and really try to get something better for them. Auction them for a little bit more percentage than what they're actually valued at. It's possible that it is, So anyway, guys, hope to see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.